Hi everyone, Karen here. Today we're going to be making this trifold card that has a trifold center that folds in the opposite direction. So we have this one here that is made with the Diamond Press paper dolls. This is the one we'll be making today. This one says, "Happy birthday, you'll always be my friend, you know too much," which is kind of funny. And I also made it into a 5x7. I stretched it out a little bit and used one paper doll and put the happy birthday in the middle. And then if you'll notice on this one, the big part, the thicker part I should say, is the front and the skinny part is the back. But there's no reason why you can't fold it the other way and have the bigger part here on the other side. So basically it's turned upside down. And then make that the front, and then have the card open that way. So there's lots of ways you can do it. This one has a matte and a layer on it, where this one only has the one layer on it with pattern paper. So there's lots of choices. There's no wrong way to do it. This one has a big embellishment here, a decoupage in the center, where the other ones are more simple. So whichever way you want to do it. Alright, so let's look at the template again. So we have our 6x10 inch piece of paper. We're going to score an inch and a half in, 2.5 at 7. We're going to come down an inch at 4 and at 6. At the 5-inch line, counting from the top, you're going to go across again, cut this, score at 4 inches. Alright, so then we have the mat and the layer. Now this, you can do one, you can do both, you can do none, it's up to you. But this is all written here too in the template. So the top and the bottom are 1 3/4 by 3/4 for the mat. The two sides here are actually the same dimensions. They're 3 by 3/4 by 5 3/4. It's just for this side, you're going to cut in 2.5 inches and 3/4 from the top and the bottom to match, because you want to match these pieces here. And on this side, you're still going to come down the 3/4 of an inch, but you're only going to cut an inch out on this side. And then this one will be 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. And these two here are 3/4 wide by 3 3/4 long. If you want to do a layer, that one, so now we're going smaller. So where this was 3 3/4, we're now at 3.5 by 5.5 for the two sides. We're now only coming down 1/2 inch and in an inch for this one. Still coming down the 1/2 inch on this one, but in 2.5 inches for here. And this is to match the 1.5 by 1/2 on the top and the bottom. So that brings the middle to 3.5 by 1/2, 3 by 3.5, and 3.5 by 1/2. These are all listed in the blog, so you can download them there, or you can use the SVG, which is also there. So let's start with the base. So now this has been cut and folded. So for this card, I'm going to use this light colored for the mat. Flip that over because that got torn on the one side. And then I am going to use this dark for the layer. So I'm going to attach the mat and layers together before I glue them to the card. It's just personal preference. I like to do it that way. So first I'm going to emboss the layer. And I'm going to use the Gina K Swiss dots. And I'm just going to run this through my MIDI. All right, don't need that. And you can do several of these pieces at a time. Just make sure that if you're going to use an embossing folder that has direction, that you make sure you put your papers in the same direction that they're going to be in the card. So this one here, those go that way. This one goes here. This one can go here. And since they're dots, I just want to make sure these are straight. They're pretty straight. That looks pretty good. All right. I will run this through my MIDI. And Gina K just recently started making embossing folders, and I've bought a couple of them, and I'm pretty happy with them. They're all really quite nice. Let's see, that was the one. All right, those two are not going to fit on here together. We'll run this through. Sure that's pretty straight. Nope. And I will say, when I'm just here not making a video, I generally use my electronic machine. I do have a Gemini Pro sitting behind me, but that does make kind of a bit of noise, so I don't use it in the videos. Done. Let's make sure we're all situated here so we can see. All right, so we have this piece will go in the middle. This piece goes here. This goes here, 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 and here. Sure you can see what I'm doing here. Get everybody all lined up. All right, and we'll just start gluing. And I just like to glue the matte and layer together so they're dry when I put them on the card. And that way pieces aren't sliding around on me. Bottle's almost empty. Should have filled that before we started. So I really like the Swiss dot one. There's I know a lot of companies make Swiss dots. I like the detail on this one. You get a lot of nice detail. Let's see, next. You could use pattern paper if you wanted to on this, but I thought with the little paper dolls we're going to put on top, it was, they got lost. They would get lost if I put print back there. So I thought this, you know, an embossing folder would be just enough to have a little bit there, but not too much. All right, so now we just need to attach this. Will go here. Oh, this bottle may not make it to the end. You know, this card is really pretty, and once you see how it's folded, you see where to put the cut lines. It's really a pretty easy card to put together. I really like these little diamond press paper dolls. When we get to how I made the one, we'll see how I put two of the different dresses together to make what I wanted. One second, last piece on here. Have a rough edge there. Yeah, when you're using a cutting machine like a Cameo or a Cricut, you really do need to use good quality paper. White core paper sometimes is not your friend on that machine because it will, anything that, you know, has a tendency of cracking when you score it probably isn't the best to run through the machine. There we go. And I'm going to make this the front. So actually we're going to fold this one back and this one forward. I think I might have flipped the page over. There we go. But since this card is the same, it doesn't, if you do that, where originally I had folded it to go on the other side, it doesn't matter because it's the same. So it folds. So there we go. There's the card base all ready to go to decorate. Alright, so next let's bring in our stamp and die set. And today we're going to be using the diamond press paper dolls. This is kind of fun because it has two people, comes with two people, and then a bunch of different clothes with accessories, and then you can dress them up. So what I did here is I made two of them earlier. This one is just, where is she? This one here. It's this one here wearing this dress. But the other one, I kind of wanted a rockabilly dress. So what I did was I took the bathing suit and where's the other skirt? Oh, here it is. And the skirt. And I cut the top off the bathing suit and attached it with the skirt and made more of a rockabilly type dress. So you absolutely can do that. You can take any of these tops and bottoms and cut them up after you stamp them out and make new outfits. So think outside the box and have at it. So in this one I did put the purse on here, but I will show you something about these dies that I found when I made those. So let me take this paper here, move this to the side. There's our dies. All right, so let's take, doesn't really matter which one. Let's take this dress. And this goes, let's take the bathing suit. The bathing suit's real obvious. Okay, so here's our Stampin' Die for the bathing suit. So if you noticed, this die is solid on top. So that would be really hard to line up. And the cutting line is also in the middle, which makes it a little bit harder to line up. So what you can do in an instance like this is make yourself a little template. And you can do this with all of your dies that you find a little tricky. And I got this from Gina K. She, guess about 2 months ago, she made a video, and if I can find it, I will link it below, of how to line up your dies. And she had some great tips that really did make a huge difference if you have trouble lining some of these up. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to just run it through the machine. So now I have a cutout of what the die does. And we don't need that. Need that. And we'll put this back. So now what I'm going to do is going to take my stamping platform really quick and stamp this. Let's see, the purpose of our demonstrations, it doesn't matter what ink we're using. I'll grab this one. Stamp it. Okay. So let's put this back. So now, to line it up, you can take your cutout and get it to where you would want it to be. You can even tape this down if you want to. Place your die in the hole, because now that you have that space, the die will fit right in that hole. And I'm just going to take this and run it through my machine. Oh, there goes the die. The folder has seen better days. Oh, and in case you're wondering, yes, you can run the mini folders through the MIDI. They will go through. So then when you take it out, it's all lined up. And then you just keep your little template. Just put that in with your dies. And you could take all your dies when you first get a set, lay them out on a piece of paper and cut them all out. And then you're ready to go when you stamp them. But if you have trouble lining up your Stampin' Dies, that is a fabulous way to do it. And Gina K did that, and I just thought that was like genius. So I had to share that because I just thought that was fabulous. So there you go. Easy way to do that. And I will link it if I can find the video. I will link it below. But I think she did it about 2 months ago. Okay, so now we have to decide on our sentiment, which I've decided I'm going to use this one. It says, "You'll always be my friend, you know too much." And then I'm going to add happy birthday. So when I first saw these, I wasn't too sure because they are such a long sentiment. But I looked on the examples they had here. And I was like, okay, so they cut them. So that's what they did. And I was like, that's going to be a little tough to cut. But then again, I used my trimmer instead of my guillotine, and I was able to line it up, and it was fine on my sample that I did. That's what I did on this card here, and cutting it was not a problem. All right, so now I need a piece of white. And let me grab my stamping platform. Now it's helpful when you do this, if you're doing it on something with lines on it, because now I can pick this up and I can look at it. And I can see, yep, that's pretty straight. It's all along that line. So now I'm going to take black. And this is the Gina K Premium Dye Ink. I've been buying her inks lately. She sells her inks as blending inks. They are water-based inks, so they are water reactive to a point. But she formulated them basically for blending, and I will tell you, I've never used inks that blend as well as these do. These blend just fabulously. Alright, that looks pretty good, but I want to do it again. It's the first time I've used this stamp. And Gina K sells her inks in cubes and pads. And I got some cubes so I could try the colors out and see how I like them. And I kind of like the cubes. They're really good. Alright, so that's nice and dark, so that's good. Let me put this back before that gets lost. Alright, so we're done with that. Done with this. Done with that. Take the trimmer out. Alright, so now I like this trimmer too because it has numbers going in both directions, which is really kind of helpful. Alright, so let's see. Let's say we make this that's going to be, so let's say we'll make it a 1/2 inch. That looks right. Alright, so now we have a nice 1/2 inch. So now we have to decide how we want to split this up. So let's take this over here. Let's decide what we want to do here. So if we put this little gal here, and this little gal goes over here, let's see what this will look like when it's folded. So she'll be here, and her little friend will be over here. And make sure they're not going to overhang the card. All right, so that gives us this much room here. So maybe we can do it in 2 lines. Let's say, "You'll always be my friend, you know too much." Let's see what that looks like. And so now I can see, I can use the wire there to cut it exactly where I want to. So now I have, you'll always be my friend. You know too much. Let's see. So if she's here, she's here. You can be there, and you can be there. And then happy birthday can go over here. All right, so let's see. First I need to stamp happy birthday since I forgot. And this little stamping platform I bought on Amazon. It works a lot like the Misty, and it was a lot cheaper than a Misty. And I like it. It's amazing. You start off with a clean desk, and you get halfway through a card, and even though my desk is huge, I end up with everything right next to me. Stamp this a second time just because these are new stamps. Stamp that down. There we go. All right, so if I cut those at a 1/2 inch, let's see what this looks like if I cut this at a 1/2 inch. Well, I'll have to cut a little bit off the top. There we go. Let me trim the ends off here. Since the other one was so close to the edge with the wording, I don't want to have too much hanging off of this one. Okay. So now we have a choice. I think I know which way I'm leaning. These can go straight on here, or we can put a mat around them. So let's cut a mat and see how that looks. Let's see. So I don't want a very big mat. Let's see here. We'll have, you will always be my friend. Oh, I think I like that better. That's how I did the original card. We have, you know too much. And then for happy birthday, oh, we can use the same thing. All right, so let's clear away some of this trash. And let's cut this. So once again, we're going to cut this using the guide, which this is like fabulous. Whoop, it would help if I held on to it. There we go. And I know there's a lot of trimmers like this on the market. This one happens to be Fiskars. I found it on Amazon. It was nice because it came with 2 blades, and Amazon does sell extra blades in 5 packs. And since it was Fiskar, I knew it would work. Alright, so now it's time to assemble. So I guess we could change our mind here. And we could put happy birthday here. Move her over a little bit. And then on this piece, we could put "You'll always be my friend, you know too much." See if it will fit. Let's see. So what do we think? Or can we go this way? I think that way. What do you think? Oh, I think I'm going to do it this way. This thing about card making, you can always change your mind. Let's see. So let's put her on here. Alright, so she will go. Let's put her feet on the ground so she doesn't look like she's floating. Let's see if we need room for happy birthday. Nope, we can put her in the middle. There she goes. Now she will have to be as far over as we can put her so she's not hanging off the card when it's closed. So let's close this and put her at the bottom so she doesn't look like she's floating. And oh, look what I did. I put glue all the way down on her feet, and they just should not be glue on her feet. This has to be turned. All right, glad we're using wet glue. Probably slide this around a little bit. All right, so when it's closed, it will look like that. And when you open it, it will be like this. I think that's good placement. Okay. Turn it a little bit more. There we go. With the paper dowels. Definitely we'll be using these again. I made this one first. I know they're pretty simple. You just take the dowel and color them in. And when you color it, you don't bother coloring what's on the body, because when you stamp it out, you have the whole entire body, but then all of this is going to be covered. So you really only have to cover the legs, color the legs, the arms, and the hair. You really don't have to do a lot of coloring on the body. This one, the skirt's a little shorter, so you have to color a little more of the legs and up here. And yeah, these, I used alcohol markers on these. And yeah, these are kind of fun. Maybe I'll do a whole video with just making the paper dolls. What do you think? If you'd like to see a video with just making paper dolls, let me know. And until next time, stay crafty. Thanks for watching. Bye.